Hello, everybody, and welcome to Healing Yoga today on this bright winter day. I'm just going to have a seat here for just a moment just to welcome you all to this practice today. And we'll go through a few things. We'll probably spend a good part of our time on the mat today. Certainly welcome to be seated in a chair or have a chair handy for balance. And we will start standing today just for our wake up and to ground and to really draw in that earth energy. You know, we talk about grounding all the time. A great way to ground is walking barefoot on the earth, on the grass. Well, as you can see, that's really not available right now, and your feet would get really cold. So another way is taking a stainless steel spoon. I didn't bring one out today, but stainless steel, not silver. It has to have magnetic qualities, so you can test it with a magnet. So a stainless steel spoon, and you just rub that bottom of the spoon on the bottom of your feet, back and forth. I do this often in the wintertime since it's a little difficult to get out on the grass. Do that a few times. A lot of times I keep it next to my bed so I can do it first thing in the morning. And then you just do both sides. Again, we're talking about grounding using a stainless steel spoon, something with magnetic properties. We are magnetic beings. We have positive and negative, north and south magnetics properties on our hands and our feet. So, as does the earth. Or, you hear we're all in this together. Well, we really kind of are. We're all connected in some way, somehow. So a great way to ground in the wintertime is to use a stainless steel spoon on the soles of your feet. So let's connect with our breath. Maybe just lower the eyes. Maybe the chin toward the chest, as if you're holding that soft piece of fruit between your chin and your chest. And deeply inhale through the nose. And then out the mouth, maybe making that or a ha sound, whatever comes naturally to you today. Find that length in the spine as you inhale. Soften shoulders as you exhale. But do think about bringing your shoulders east to west or lengthening them out versus letting them hunch forward. We want to have that strong spine, shoulders back and down, and of course that belly drawing in and up to keep us the integrity of the spine and our good posture. Now, either seated or standing, we will do the wake up. I'm going to stand today. So just press down through the heels. Lift up through the kneecaps gently. And gently tweeze at the tailbone. And then draw that belly button in and up. Shoulder blades slide down into our back pockets. And imagine that gold thread drawing up from the crown of our heads. We'll take our notched fingers or just the pads of our fingers, finding our collarbone. Moving down about an inch, massaging, tapping or thumping. All the while breathing in through the nose and out the mouth. Remember, this is the on button for the meridian system, end point of our kidney meridian, which is kind of governs the meridian system. And we'll shake that off. And then come to the thymus, bringing in the T cells, like the shot of vitamin C. Breath in the nose, out the mouth. Shake off the hands, side seams beneath the breaths, right at the rib cage. And once again, tap, thumper, massage, metabolizing and digestion. Thoughts, ideas, food. Remember, the spleen pulls the nutrients from the food, from our food. So we want to keep that in optimum working order. And also remember, if you find a little bit of soreness, kind of rub it some more to work that out. Get that moving. It's kind of maybe stuck or stagnant energy. Continue that breath. Shake it off. And then come to your cheekbones. Another way of grounding. Tapping right here at your cheekbones. Breath in the nose, out the mouth. Stomach meridian, associated with the earth energy and of course grounding. If you're feeling like you're out of sorts, this is a great thing to do just to bring you back to earth. You can move all the way around the orbital bone and then shake it off. Pause. 3 deep breaths. I need to reposition this. Eeks. And then we'll begin our side to side or homolateral march. 3 to 4 rounds, dust off, and cross over. 10 to 12 rounds here. 4, sometimes I count, usually I don't. I'm just so used to doing this. So when I feel that it's about right, that's when I am complete. I invite you to do the same. Go with your intuition. Find discernment in everything we do. Breath in the nose, out the mouth. Last one. Shake it off. Hover hands over our pubic bone. And think of any intention. You want to zip up. You want to seal in your own energy. Zip up that front line and sweep it out. Anytime you're feeling vulnerable or not knowing what to do, zip right up the front. Sweep it out. Helps create or build our own confidence, keep our confidence, and seal out any negative energies from entering in. It's a constant thing. Chaos going on in the world. We need to keep ourselves in good condition, physically, mentally, emotionally, and spiritually. Finally, we'll do the hookup. Again, this is your energetic spine, building confidence. 3 deep breaths. In the nose, out the mouth. And then shake that off. So as we stand, once again, let's just kind of lean back so that our heels have most of the weight here. Maybe have your knees a little soft. Breathing, palms facing forward. We want to open through the shoulders as well as the pectoral and chest muscles. But we don't want to just draw out with the chest. We want to make sure we kind of knit the ribs in at the same time, if that makes sense. Now you can breathe in through the nose, out the nose, or in through the nose and out the mouth. So find your natural breath here. Slowly sweep the arms up. And then exhale. Sweep down. Let's begin to weave. Arms dancing. Remember what the weave does. Helps to cleanse our own energetic field as well as bind our entire energy systems together for strengthening. Sounds good, huh? So we're just moving gently up and down, breathing. 2 deep inhales, kind of like 2 sniffs in through the nose, and then exhale 2 as you're coming down. Again, 2 sniffs in deeply, and 2 way down. One more time. 2 sniffs. Let's slowly come into a forward fold and just hang here, softening knees as necessary. That helps to loosen anything pulling from the low back and lets that low back stretch out. Inhale to your half lift and sink in a little more deeply here. Nod the head. Shake it side to side. And then let your arms just dangle. Just hang. Let that upper body be relaxed. Breathe. And very slowly make your way up to standing. Again, once you've been over in a fold or with your head below your heart, you want to come up very slowly, as that can create dizziness. So just be mindful of that. So once we're up here, let's open to heaven rushing in, all the possibilities, anything we're asking for today, or anything we'd like to release to the heavenlies. Do that now as you breathe in the nose and out the nose or the mouth. Something you're grateful for, praying for, or for someone. And then gather that in. Give yourselves a big hug. Chin to the chest. And then gently rock side to side. And then once again, reach the arms overhead, pulling down a couple times. Bring the hands together, thumbs to the forehead. Trace thumbs over the eyebrows, curl the fingers and comb them over the eyebrows. Pause at your temples. Smooth behind the ears. Give your shoulders a little squeeze. And then slide the hands down your front side. And then come down the sides of the legs and off the pinky toe. Shake that off. Now you can either be here standing or you can have a seat at the chair and place your hands beneath the big toe mound. So if you're seated here, and if you can't reach, that's okay. You can even do one at a time. Take 2 to 3 breaths and then switch, or both. Right here, as you breathe, exhale, inhale, and then lift the bum. Inhale as you bend the knees, and then lift the bum. And then we're going to trace kidney meridian, very similar to the spleen. But if you have your fingers beneath the toes, right about in the center here, if you just squish your foot, there's a little divot. That is the first point of our kidney meridian. So we start there, and then we come up, kind of like for the spleen, but we circle that ankle bone, and then that flat hand, pretty much same inner path here, but we just come straight up and do that right here. Remember where we start our wake up? That's where it ends. So that's just one side. We can do both sides at the same time, kind of like we do with the spleen. So we just place our fingers beneath that big toe mound, between second and third toe approximately. circle around, and it doesn't matter which way you circle around the ankle, so don't get all hung up with that. Inner thighs straight up between the breasts, and then give that a little tap. Breathe in the nose, out the mouth. And a couple more standing things before we make our way to the floor. Again, finding our words. If you find yourself scrambled, things are crazy. We're all kind of homebound, which this time of year, it's very easy to be and stay home. I have a tendency to do that myself. It's cold. You don't really want to go anywhere. And with everything going on, there's not been a lot going on. So some people are kind of going stir crazy, and I completely understand that. Get outside, bundle up, take a walk around the block. That's going to help. But meanwhile, when you're inside doing some yoga, doing some things that will help your mental and emotional as well as your physical and spiritual, we are bringing together in the Younk or the schoolyard hookup here. So notice I just crossed one leg over the other. You just pay attention to which one you've crossed, and then take the backs of the hands and cross one over. And then we curl beneath. If that is too awkward, just bring the hands together like so. Take 3 deep breaths. And then unwind and switch. Curl or just bring together, and then step over, cross the opposite ankle. 3 deep breaths here. So this is unscrambling our energies, finding our words. I could have used this for myself this morning when I was talking to my husband. I couldn't come up with a word. So that happens to all of us at some time. Deep breaths. Unwind. And now we're going to do a little moving balance. And a chair might be good to have, or if you've got a wall handy or counter, or neither if you want to challenge yourselves. However you want to work on this. This is shooting star. So I just step out to the side, arms out, lift the toe, maybe see how long you can hang, 5, 6 seconds, and then come to the other side. Lifting up, drawing in and up through that core and that belly button. And then to the other side, balancing, focusing, and strengthening. Gazing straight ahead at the horizon. Deep breaths. Whoopsie. You could always use that toe as a kickstand. And this works your arms as well, I'm sure you're noticing. Let's do one more to each side. Breathe. Sweep arms up. And bring hands to heart center. Hands on our thighs. We'll go into heaven connecting earth, and then we'll do a little arm stretch. So as we slide up, hands to heart center, and go into that side or lateral stretch. I know I said just 2 more standing, but just had to do this today. Come down. Just a good connection. Breathe. And down. Make sure your knees don't pass your toes. And if you look down and the knees are going past the toes, just kind of sit back. You probably will notice a little bit of less stress on your knees once you sit back in that chair. And last time. Hands to heart center. And if you have a strap or sash, you can grab that now. If not, that's okay. You can just use your hands. We're doing that back scratch test. This is actually the holder of one of my yoga mats, but I think it's a perfect thing, a strap for using for stretching. So I'm going to use this today. And extend one arm out, sweep that back, crawl that up. This arm comes over. Now you don't have to use this strap, but you can because you can walk your fingers up the strap. Maybe the fingers touch, maybe they don't. It does not matter. That's what we're working toward. And we're working toward keeping that length and lift through the crown of our head. So if you find yourself doing this, lengthen up. Maybe that separates the fingertips a little bit, and that's okay. That's okay. This is what we're working toward, getting a little closer, and that's why it comes in handy to have a strap or something that you can hold on, and it keeps this nice static pose. Breathe. 2 more breaths. Slowly unwind and roll the shoulders a couple times. And then sweep the opposite arm back, reach that up, and the other arm over. Shoulder issues, be mindful. I'm speaking for myself at the same time. I have a shoulder issue. So if something hurts, I don't go past that point. Find your edge and pause there, or even soften out of it a little bit. You don't want to aggravate something that's already bothersome to you. So we need to heal instead of no pain, no gain. You'll never hear me say that and mean it, because that's just not something that I believe in. Breathe, stand up tall. And one more deep breath. Slowly release. Roll the shoulders up, back, and down. Squeeze the shoulders up toward our ears, and let's just keep them there. Not comfortable, I know. Squeeze, squeeze, breathe. Back with the shoulders, and down. And then look both ways. Come back to center, and then look one direction. Drop the chin down, roll it along the collarbone, look up the other way. And tap the chin down, come back. One more time each way. Roll slowly, look to the opposite side. Tap down, roll to side one, and then come back to center. Now let's take the feet about mat width apart. We're going to make our way down to the mat or just our chair, whichever we prefer. Let's just begin bending the knees. We're working from expansion toward contraction, or from larger to smaller. As we come down, one more time here. Now, if downward facing dog is something in your practice that you enjoy doing, by all means, I encourage you to go there now. Otherwise, let's wave our hands. Weave and come into forward fold. bring the hands down and come to all fours. And move through some cat and cow stretches. Make sure your wrists are below your shoulders and knees below the hips. We want stacked joints in order to protect our joints. And then we can wag that side to side crescent stretch. Breathing all the while. Think about that hammock and the belly button's drawing up the whole time, shoulders back, and then come into that cat lift. And let's find stillness in that neutral tabletop or hands and knees. Slide one foot back, flexing through that foot, and reach forward with the opposite arm, keeping the hips right in line with that mat, and draw elbow toward the knee, and then reach out, or simply just hold. This is for a little add-on here, a little extra work. Exhale, inhale, hold for a breath, and down. Now, if you have some wrist issues, if that is challenging, you can either block beneath the hand or come to the forearm. So those are different options. Find what works for you. Second side, slide that leg out. And reach forward. Tummy button drawn in and up. And then draw elbow toward the knee. Reach out. Maybe tucking the rear toes for a little bit more stability. One more. Pause for a breath. And then let's bring the forearms down. Bum is lifted, and we're softening our heart center toward the mat in puppy pose. Forehead maybe makes contact with the mat or a block. Full deep breaths here. Slowly come back up. Knees hip width are a little wider. Slowly reach one arm up just to where you can, feeling that nice stretch through the pectoral, front of that shoulder, as well as the chest. Circle the wrist. Other direction. And you can also have a block or blanket. It does help to have that height. Gives you a little bit more opening. And then we'll weave this arm down, just doing what we can, threading that through. Maybe using a block for that shoulder. If it doesn't want to come down, that might not be very comfortable. You can use a pillow as well. This arm can reach up high, around, or out from the crown for your thread the needle pose. staying there, breathing. And then slowly unwinding. Once again, flattening the palm. Flick through each finger and thumb and then the whole hand. Remember that stimulates our meridians as well as releases excess energy. Weave down. And then we have side 2. And once again, you have the option to use that block for a little added height. Lift and circle the wrist. Other direction. And then weave. Thread. Same options this side. Maybe reach that top arm high or around the back for half bind. And then slowly unwind from there. So again, flick through each fingertip and thumb, whole hand. And then let's come down around to seated here. Bringing the soles of the feet together in cobbler's pose. So finding your ankle bone with your thumbs. Just let that thumb slide into that little divot there. That's the 3rd point of our kidney meridian. It also is contraindicated for pregnancy. So please keep that in mind and avoid if you are. But by massaging these points on both feet, we are literally shooting energy directly to that organ. Kidney is represented by the element of water. Water is the element of winter, and we are full in it. So this is a good one to be working. Kidney energy does not like to be cold. Well, that's a little paradox there. So keeping that massaged in there. And then either maybe taking the 3 fingers, first 3 fingers, index, middle, and ring finger, and then resting them on that downward slope of the inner ball of the foot by the arch. That is the 3rd point of the spleen meridian, and it's also the master or the source point for that. So holding these 2 together is a powerful hold. You can hold this anywhere from 1 to 3 minutes. Typically, if you hold it for about 2 minutes or so, you'll feel the gentle pulses, and then they become synchronized. First, you may feel a pulse in one, then the other, and then they'll synchronize. And once they synchronize, then you know that is complete. Doesn't always happen the first time, or we might be having too firm of a hold. It's just a very light hold here. And if you don't feel the pulses, don't worry. It's still happening. The work is still happening. The benefit, I should say. So we'll just hold this for a few more breaths today. I wanted to show you just a good little hold. And then shake out the hands. Think about leading with the navel as you come forward. Maybe the elbows come out a little on the knees to help coax them a little more open. Getting the hips open. It is said that emotions reside in the hips. So that gives us pause when we're working to open in through our hips sometimes, or the hips get sore. A lot of times sitting, of course, that will make our hips feel like we need to do something. We need to work them. So this is a good opening. One thing we can do. And then drop the chin toward the chest. Let the head hang. Deep breath. Slowly come back up. And then bring the knees together. Extend one leg. And either just bend the knee and hold on to it on the inside of that leg. Or if it's available, cross that ankle over. Opposite arm wraps. And then we sweep around. I'm going to do it this way for demonstrative purposes. Sweep around here, sitting up tall, and breathing. Now, if you're able to create a little bit more space, back up and go into a little twist. Maybe bring that elbow to the outside, only if that feels right for your body today. Placing the hand down. You can also have a block or two. Just playing around with different props really gives you some good ideas and enhancements for your practice. Let's take 2 more deep breaths here. Unwind, and then let's open the twist. So same arm to that top bent knee, and twist the other direction. This gentle twist. Come back to center. And then crossing that ankle just above the knee or below the knee if that's where it goes and you can find a comfortable spot. Holding on to the knee and to the foot. Sit up tall. Remember the belly button. Core. Just think about that center core. Right about where the belly button is. So you hinge, lead with the core, lead with the belly button. Hinge just to where you can. Everybody's a little different as far as their flexibility and their hamstrings. So just do what you can and find your edge. Pause in that place where you feel that really good stretch. Take about 5 breaths. And slowly come back up. Extend the leg, point and flex. Now let's weave the arms and we'll come into a seated forward fold. Attach between knees and ankles. Inhale, gaze forward. Exhale to sink in. Deep breath. If it's available to reach, let's trace kidney meridian once again. Remember, find that divot, the balls of the feet, the bottom here. Come along, wide hand. You're bound to cover the point. Circle, inside seam of the leg. This one comes straight up. And then if you just did one side, we'll do the other. And if you did both sides at the same time, great. It's done. And so we'll do side 2, crossing that opposite leg over. Kind of forgot what I was doing there at first. So second leg crosses over. Again, you can lean back, create a little space, and go into your twist, and then wrap the arm around, or take the arm to the outside if that's available. Again, we're all going to be a little bit different here. Sitting up tall and breathing. Flexing through the foot of the extended leg. It's going to continue to give that calf a nice stretch. Sitting up tall, working the core. That gold thread drawing from the crown of our heads. And then slowly unwind. Same arm as leg is crossed over. And we open the twist. Unwind and cross that ankle above or below the knee. Sit up tall, flexing through this foot of the extended leg as well as the crossed ankle, and hinge. Slowly find your edge. Don't go past your edge. Two more deep breaths. And then come up, extend the legs out, weave the arms, hinge and attach somewhere between the knees and the ankles. Inhale, gaze forward. Exhale to sink in. This time, option tracing kidney or spleen. I'm going to trace the kidney meridian straight up. And then I'm going to trace the spleen meridian. Remember, inside of the big toenail, along the arch, behind the ankle bone, inseams, a little bit wider at the torso, come up along the side seams, almost to shoulders and back down. Shake it off. Now let's come onto our back sides. And having your strap, sash, or whatever you may have handy today. Have lots of toys in the toy box today. We're going to go a little bit more in-depth next week with using the strap. But today, let's just draw our knees into our chest just to begin with. And roll gently side to side, giving ourselves a little back massage. Breathing in the nose, and take that HA or The WHOOO is the sound of the winter and the water element. And that HA helps to release anxiety. That woo helps to release fear. And it's just a good, nice, releasing exhalation. So whatever just comes to you, use that. Placing one leg down, placing my left foot down, right leg raises. Whatever you have handy to find full extension through this leg so it's not bent like this. We're working on stretching through the hamstring, and then we're gonna do a hip and inner and outer thigh stretch. So as we flex through this top leg, we find our edge as we draw it in. If we draw it in, our knee bends a lot. Well, it's kind of counterproductive. See, we want to keep that fairly straight without locking out the leg. And breathe here. And then push the opposite foot out as if you're pushing away a piece of furniture. Turn the toes outward or laterally. This hand, left hand, either anchors the hip down or comes out wide to a T. Many times as we come out with this leg, this opposite hip wants to raise. So we want to just go slowly, working to keep this hip anchored, and we're breathing. If that's too much, with that leg suspended, you can have a block to help hold that up, and breathe. Slowly bring that back to center. Switch hands. Right arm comes wide, and we draw that toe as it comes inward or medially across the midline. I have this chair here. That's kind of nice to rest that on. Breathe. You should feel a little outer thigh stretch here. And then return to center. Take another deep breath here. Inhale and be heavy in through the back side. Shoulders really anchor into the earth. And then release the sash and fold the knees into your chest once again. Give yourselves a hug. Inhale. As you exhale, lift up, blow out the candle. Come back down. Inhale. Exhale, blow out the candle. One more time. Inhale and exhale. Notice the position we're in. This is a reclined squat. Knees to chest, it's contraction. Move from expansion to contraction. So now I'm placing my right foot down, extending the left leg. Finding my edge here. Drawing that back. The more we flex through this foot, you can really feel that through your hamstrings, back here, and your calf. Breathe. Slowly extend the opposite leg. Now that is not required, but it kind of helps anchor and it takes the stretch a little deeper. So you just listen to your body and what it's telling you today. Turn the toes laterally outward. This arm comes wide or anchors that hip. I like to anchor that hip personally. And then open that opposite leg, knowing you can have blocks for support. You feel a nice inner thigh or groin stretch here. Slowly come back to center. Switching hands. Toes come medially or inward. Left arm wide. Moving very slowly. We don't want to necessarily flop over. We're keeping most of our backside, our tailbone kind of anchored. So this top foot is probably just floating in the air. This left arm is helping to keep us anchored. And we're breathing. And slowly bring that back center. Take another deep breath here. Release the sash, place to the side. Once again, draw the knees into the chest and roll gently side to side. And then bring the body into stillness. As you inhale, exhale, blowing out the candle. Blowing out any fear. Inhale, courage. Exhale, fear. Inhale, confidence. Exhale, doubt. Release down, placing the feet about a little bit wider than hip width. Maybe take the arms wide to a T, or even the cactus arms. You may see that the backs of your hands don't quite touch, or they're floating above. By just taking this position, or even a W position, you can let, over time, those hands and that forearm open into gravity. Knees are bent. Let's allow the knees to fall to one side as you gaze over the opposite shoulder. Deep breath. Inhale, knees back to center. Exhale as the knees fall to the other side. We'll do that one more time to each side. Knees center, side one. Deep breath. Knees center, side two. Come back to center. Shift the hips a little to the right. Lengthen out the left leg. Bring the right knee in. And if it's available, to reach behind that knee crease. And hold back there. We've got bladder and gallbladder points back there. Pause. Take 3 deep breaths in this lying spinal twist. And returning to center. Knees bent. Shift your hips a few inches to the left this time. Extending right leg. Draw that left knee in. And take that twist to the other side. 3 deep breaths. Slowly unwind. And as we come back to center, maybe get warm if you've got your socks, you've got a blanket, taking your Shavasana or final relaxation, whatever that looks like for you. You may want a block or ball right beneath your sacrum or that triangular tailbone, right where that fuses back there. You can be on your side, you can be on your back, you can be prone on your belly. However you feel comfortable, just sink into your relaxed position. Maybe revisit any intention you may have set. And breathe. Beginning to wiggle the fingers and our toes. Take a deep breath in through the nose. Let it release out the mouth. Once again, deep breath in the nose. Exhale out the mouth. Rolling to one side and joining me in seated if you haven't already. Just taking your time. No rush. With our palms open in our seated position, let's gather this energy in our own personal spaces that we've created. And make that heart, place it down into the crown of our heads, to be taken down, our spinal column, set down, in through the feet, into the earth, that connection. Deep breath here, hands to heart center. Thank you all for practicing with me today. I will see you next week, and we will do a little bit more hip opening then. Until then, namaste.